Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the B Prep Show.
And we're coming to you from one of the most electric atmospheres and the biggest games in all of Northern California, the Quarry Bowl in Sacramento.
Welcome back for another edition of the B Prep Show. I'm your host, Mike Finnerty, joined as always by my partner, Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee, and we are coming from Hughes Stadium, home of the annual Quarry Bowl.
The Quarry Bowl has been tradition here in Sacramento since 1969. Sacramento City College, one of the great stadiums here in Sacramento. And, you know, you think about the Quarry Bowl, Jesuit, Christian Brothers. Why does it matter? 15,000 people every year. That's why it matters. We got to see a real treat. We got to see the atmosphere. We got to see a young man named Bo Bisharat. His father, Charlie Bisharat, played for Jesuit in the late 70s. I think the son's better.
Yeah, he's not too bad. Joe, we got other football, though. We got Rocklin playing the Quarry Bowl against Whitney. We had Nevada Union going on the road to Lincoln. So let's get to the highlights. We start off with the Quarry Bowl from Hughes Stadium on the campus of Sacramento City College. This longtime annual tradition, still the biggest draw in Sacramento area for high school sports. The Christian Brothers Falcons taking on the Jesuit Marauders, and this one was all Marauders. Getting it started was Bo Bisharat as he punches it in from 3 yards out, putting Jesuit on the board first, up 7-0. 2 minutes later, Jesuit back at it again. It's Cole Brownholes to Bisharat, and he is going to do the rest himself. 44 yards for the score, and now it's 14-0 Marauders. More Jesuit, this time Brownholes. He's going to fake the handoff and then find some room to run. Brownholes goes 32 yards for another Jesuit touchdown. And with a minute left to play in the first, it's 21-0. Jesuit would add this 27-yard score by Jamal Milton to make it 28-0 after the first. And the Marauders go on to roll the Falcons by a final of 48-21. Both teams are now 2-1. Christian Brothers will take on McClatchy this week. Jesuit is back in action in 2 weeks at Pleasant Grove. Next up, we take you to Rocklin High School, host of this year's annual Quarry Bowl, featuring crosstown rivals, the 0-2 Whitney Wildcats and the 2-0 Rocklin Thunder. Striking first in this one was Rocklin on the Riley Clark 8-yard touchdown run up the middle. That's 6 points, but watch what happens on the 2-point conversion. Dylan Smethurst, he gets rid of the ball, gets it to quarterback kicker Max O'Rourke, and he is going to find his man Tommy Moore in the end zone. That is 2, and that is going to make it 8-0 Rocklin. Whitney hangs around early. It's Devin Burkini around the left side. He's going to score, getting his team to within a point. From there, though, the balance of this game would belong to Rocklin. You've got O'Rourke up the middle for another touchdown. It's now 15-7 Thunder. Early second quarter, it's Clark again, his second of what would be 4 touchdowns on the night to make it 22-7. And by the time the half was over, Rocklin would lead 42-14 and would go on to beat Whitney by a final count of 62-14, improving to 3-0 overall before taking on Sac High at home this Friday. We go from Rocklin to Lincoln, where we pick it up late in the second half. The Nevada Union Miners up 26-14 on the host Fighting Zebras, when Lincoln quarterback Eli Garcia finds Elijah Cunningham for the score. The extra point is missed, but Lincoln is back in it, down 26-20 with 3:22 left to play. On the first play after the kickoff, Nevada Union loses the ball here. Lincoln's going to recover at the Miners' 37-yard line, so here we go. Lincoln with the ball and an opportunity to win this game. Fighting Zebras go to the ground game, which moves the chains, but the Nevada Union defense comes up big and stuffs the Lincoln offense in the final 2 minutes as Nevada Union holds on and gets the road victory by a final of 26-20 to improve to 2-1 on the season as Lincoln drops to 0-3.
Mike, good highlights as always. You're everywhere in Placer County, wherever it is. Nice to see teams like Nevada Union and programs like that surging after being winless last year. Bo Bisharat going back to the Quarry Bowl. He's powerful, he's strong, he's only a junior. Cole Brownholes is an impressive senior quarterback. He's worked so hard to be that position. That's what we like about high school football, is these coaches and the teams are all so impressive.
Speaking of impressive high school football coaches, Joe, you had a chance to catch up with Bear River's longtime head coach Terry Logue, and he's got win 200.
Yeah, he really does. Amazing coach, amazing guy. He's been there since 1988. Small school up in Grass Valley. He's been a superpower. He's also battled Parkinson's disease. It's a blow to his pride, but he's such an iconic figure to those kids. It's neat to see. We love to see that kind of achievement.
And great relationship he has there with Scott Savoy. Got something going on. And football in Grass Valley is huge.
It really is, whether it's Nevada Union Miners having a nice revival year, or Bear River has had non-losing seasons for 25 years in a row. It's amazing. So good job. The old coach got a Gatorade bath. He deserved it. He loved it.
You bet. All right, Joe, we got the B top 20 football rankings. You know, Folsom still at the top, obviously. What do you make of this week's rankings?
Well, you know, Folsom may be here for a long stretch, and the Bulldogs are just annihilating teams and resting everybody in the second half. So some real sportsmanship there. But Woodcreek's a team that we're really curious about in Roseville. We're going to catch up to them and talk about them here in the coming weeks. Nice to see new blood. Woodcreek is new blood.
Yes, they are. All right, so we go to break. Here are our regional top 20 small school rankings. And when we come back, we got lots of volleyball.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
All right, welcome back to the Beat Prep Show, as we bring you the very best of high school sports in Northern California. Strong emphasis right here in Sacramento. Brought to you by our good friends from Save Mart. Up and down the valley, you'll see Save Mart everywhere. Big on football. We'll have football throughout the show, including previewing some games in the last segment, but volleyball is the other sport during the fall, as well as soccer. You were all over the region last week. What stood out in volleyball?
Well, it's 1 versus 2, Joe. El Camino, #1 ranked team in the area, taking on #2 St. Francis. We got other teams, Placer taking on Oakmont, and we also had a chance to see a Roseville showdown with Woodcreek going against the Tigers. But Joe, it's 1 versus 2. It's a battle of the area's top 2 teams heading into last week. A big crowd on hand to see this showdown between #2 St. Francis scoring off against #1 El Camino. El Camino looking to stay unbeaten on the season. The Eagles grab the early lead as Elizabeth Dahlberg makes it a 14-11 game. And from there, it was just all Eagles as setter Devin Horrendous going to get it to Dahlberg, who closes out the opening set 25-14. Game 2, more of the same early. Michaela Nachetti's going to make it 16-7 El Camino. How about Mackenzie Reeder Esparza? She makes it 20-11 Eagles. And for the Game 2 winner, it's Caitlin Meyer getting it done at 25-13. So final set, El Camino looking for the sweep, and that's just what happens. A big night for Dahlberg, who would finish with 12 kills and 5 blocks as the Eagles take the third set 25-18. More from Dahlberg later in the show. El Camino remains unbeaten on the season at 19-0.
I like how we're all really supportive of each other, and the younger kids are they just love being here, and they love supporting us, and the whole senior group, it's just like our freshman year when we had our group of seniors. It was such a fun thing, and we're happy to do the same this year.
I think I knew that we could definitely do well this year with our group of seniors, and I think that it's been going really well because we've all been working so hard, and like Michaela said, supporting each other and doing our best.
I would say there's a comfort level and that we all trust each other a lot, but there is a sense of we feel a target on our backs because we know that we're now like #1 and everyone wants to beat us. So, but other than that, yeah, there's a sense of comfort and that we all know each other really well.
A pair of top 20 teams met up in Roseville with the #6 Oakmont Vikings on the home court to take on the #14 Placer Hill Gals. And it was Oakmont taking command of this match early behind the play of 6-foot middle blocker and UCLA commit Kyra Rogers, and of course Rogers' longtime teammate setter Allie Rubin, both from the 2012 Vikings team that captured the Division III section championship. This block in the net by Rogers here gives Oakmont the first set at 25-18. Second set now was Oakmont up early again before finishing it off with the game winner. They take it 25-17. Vikings now on the verge of the sweep. It's Rubin to Rogers. Vikings by 4. Later, they make it a 10-point advantage here. And then senior Abby Downs delivers the final touches on a 25-15 Oakmont win. The Vikings go on to beat Del Oro the following night to improve to 9-2 overall.
I like about this team is that we all enjoy playing volleyball together, and we all have a lot of fun, and we all get along off the court and on the court. And I don't know, I just love all of our teammates.
I think the strength of this team is just how much work we put into it, and we're really trying this year to get another section title. So yeah. And I think our role on the team is just to really be leaders and also show what the rest of us need to do, and our work ethic is really hard also.
I mean, it's everything. Their leadership, their skill, their just knowledge of what's going on. They're my second coaches out there. You know, if something's going on in the court, they tell me, they're like, hey, this is something that's going wrong or right, and this is how we fix it or keep doing it this way. And so they're my second pair of eyes out there. I'm very fortunate again to have those girls be such leaders on our team.
Let's stay in Roseville, this time with an all-Roseville showdown between the Woodcreek Timberwolves and the number 12 Roseville Tigers. This from Roseville High School. And the player of this game was Abby Jensen of Roseville, a senior in 2013 B All-Metro outside hitter. Tigers took the first set, so we pick it up in the second set where Jensen worked her magic. One big shot after the next led to a 17-6 lead for the Tigers. From there, Roseville gets it done with a 25-21 win. Tigers in full command. Game 3 now. Tigers storm out to an 11-3 advantage, fight off a Woodcreek battle late in the set, but eventually would get the 25-20 win and take it in 3 sets. The following night, Roseville would upset number 5 Rocklin with a 3-0 sweep.
All right, Mike, good stuff as always. El Camino, Sacramento, nice polished new floor. What makes the Eagles a championship team again?
Well, we talked last week. They got that 3-headed monster that I mentioned, and they had a funny story with them. Elizabeth Dahlberg, Michaela Nichetti, Devin Horrenda, they wrote headed monster on each of their hands. They're so good, Joe. This is a team that has state championship goals. We'll see if that happens, but they are clearly your number 1 team. When we come back from the break, we've got boys soccer and we have some girls tennis. Don't go away.
There's a history you feel when you visit any of the Von Hausen automotive dealerships. You'll sense the quality of Mercedes-Benz, and you'll experience the low-pressure atmosphere that comes from 2 generations of family ownership. Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento, Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills, and Mercedes-Benz of Rocklin. 3 great reasons to drive one of the world's best automobiles. Come feel the difference or visit vonhausen.com.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, starting with Save Mart Supermarkets, where fresh comes first. Shop at Save Mart up and down the Central Valley. Schools Financial Credit Union, banking for everyone, value, convenience, and emerging technology. Von Hausen Automotive Group, celebrating 50 years with Mercedes-Benz. Stop dreaming and start driving. Roseville Auto Mall. If you're looking for a used car, go to the Roseville Auto Mall with over 6,000 vehicles to choose from.
All right, welcome back to the Bay Prep Show, as we bring you the best of high school sports in Northern California. Big emphasis in Sacramento, brought to you by our good friends from Save Mart. We open up the show talking about the Holy Bowl in football. Jesuit Christian Brothers, the Holy Bowl resonates in other sports as well.
It does. You got the Holy Cup, and it was played once again this past week. Christian Brothers going to Jesuit, a battle of ranked teams, especially Jesuit, number 1, and it was a good one. Let's get you to some soccer now. We'll start with the annual Holy Cup, a rivalry game that dates back to the 1980s. It's number 1 Jesuit hosting number 4 Christian Brothers, and scoring first in this game was Gabe McEwen of Jesuit. He finds the right side of the net, and it's 1-0 just 10 minutes in, and that would be your score by halftime. All right, second half now, and getting behind the defense is Diego Bestrostro of Jesuit. He shoots, he scores. That's going to put the Marauders on top at 2-0 at the 52nd minute. Terrific play all match long in the net by keeper Luke Barbie. That's going to help keep his Marauders on top. Again, Jesuit looking for more. It's Graham Honig close. He gets this one to go, and that's going to do it as Jesuit takes it by a final of 3-0. The Galley crew loving it, of course. And yes, head coach Paul Rose, his team is now 8-0 in the season and still has some big games left on the road next week, taking on Pleasant Grove as well as Davis.
It really is a rivalry. My sophomore year, we beat them 2-0. Last year, we tied them 1-1, and that really hurt. I've been thinking about that for the last 365 days, and now we're finally back on top for my last year.
We don't have any weaknesses. We don't really have any superstars either. We're just a really balanced team. I can go to my bench. We don't drop off. And, they're hardworking. They're a team, and that's what counts in the end.
The number 2 ranked team in the area, the 4-0 Granite Bay Grizzlies, taking on the Rocklin Thunder in what looked like a possible mismatch on paper, but this was a good one. First half, Granite Bay's Hunter Loomis finds Peter Spafford. They can't get it to go. Rocklin's called for using the hands on the play, so that's going to set up this opportunity for Spafford, and he makes good. That's going to make it Grizzlies 1-0 at the 32nd minute, and that would be your score until halftime. Second half, just 9 minutes in, Rocklin finally gets on the board. This header from in close, tying it up at 1 apiece. Score remained tied until this terrific shot by Hunter Loomis of Granite Bay. He bends it in for the score. That's a 2-1 Granite Bay lead at the 66th minute, and that would prove to be the game winner as Granite Bay fends off Rocklin. They get the 2-1 win to improve to 5-0 on the season. Our final soccer highlight is a good one. It's the number 1 Franklin Wildcats of Elk Grove on the road to take on the number 12 McClatchy Lions. After a scoreless first half, we pick it up in the second half when Franklin's Keegan Miller shoots and scores. He's going to put his Wildcats on top at 1-0 at the 44th minute. McClatchy would answer 10 minutes later on a penalty kick by Tyler Ferguson. That's going to tie it at 1-1. Back and forth we go in the second half. It's Franklin seizing the lead back with a free shot of its own by Eric Cobian. Wildcats up 2-1. However, McClatchy would step up in the final minutes with this Richard Diaz goal. That's going to tie it at 2-2 late in the match. And then with under a minute left to go, game on the line, Ryan Hurd delivers with the game winner as Lions take it 3-2 in thrilling style as both teams get back in action this week. We'll wrap up our highlights portion of this show with some girls tennis. It's St. Francis taking on longtime rival Davis. Both area powers for many years, but this day would belong to Davis. In a battle of number 1s, it was Davis's Kat Powell getting a key victory, beating St. Francis's Avery Spector 7-5 and 6-4. Although St. Francis got wins from its freshman twins, number 2 Kaya Jackson and number 3 Kyla Jackson, it wouldn't be enough as Davis takes the overall match 6-3. But expect both teams to be competing for a section title later this fall.
A credit union is a not-for-profit member-owned financial institution. Can your bank say that? Demand more from your financial institution. Make the switch to Schools Financial Credit Union for low loan rates, state-of-the-art technology, making accounts accessible anytime, anywhere, and more ATMs than most major banks. Anyone who lives, works, or worships in Sacramento and its surrounding counties is eligible to join. Be part of the credit union difference and bank happily ever after with Schools.
Welcome back to the Beat Prep Show, as we bring you the very best of high school sports in Northern California. Coming to you from the Holy Bowl, Jesuit Christian Brothers. 15,000 people tell you how much of an atmosphere it is here. How about a player of note in football that may be a little bit off the radar, even though his team is 3-0 in Roseville?
Yeah, it's our Schools Financial Credit Union Game On Athlete of the Week. It's Malcolm Thomas Jr. of Woodcreek. Very interesting fellow over there, and I had a chance to catch up with him. With every new season, there are athletes that step up and make a name for themselves. They rise to the occasion and quickly stand out above the rest. And at Woodcreek High School in Roseville, Malcolm Thomas Jr. is just that guy. Thomas is 6'1", 185-pound senior wide receiver, cornerback, and kick returner, leads a Woodcreek team that is off to its best start in school history. So just who is Malcolm Thomas Jr.?
I love getting the ball, and we have a hardworking team. Our quarterback throws the ball well, O-line, and running good routes, and yeah, it's just I'm a really aggressive player and fun to watch. I lived in England for 8 years of my life, and I just turned 17 2 days ago.
So having lived in England for half of his life, we had to ask, when did you start playing football, and did you model your game after anyone in particular?
I started playing football when I was 6 years old. That's when I started playing flag football. The first year I played football, I played quarterback, and I was obsessed with Michael Vick at the time, so yeah, I tried to be like him.
Right now, Thomas Jr. has an offer from the University of Idaho, with additional offers likely to roll in, fulfilling a childhood dream.
That's always been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, just playing college football, like playing on TV and have my parents come to my games. It's just an exciting feeling.
With a 3-0 start, Thomas likes what he sees with his team.
We feel great. We just feel like we got to keep working hard. 2-0 is a great start. Hopefully get 3-0 tonight. And as I said, we have a lot of returning starters from last year's team. O-line, D-line's great, linebackers are great, quarterback, everything's just working well right now.
As for second-year co-head coaches Jason Stowers and Kyle Stowers, they have the Timberwolves out to a 3-0 start, and Thomas Jr. loves what the coaching staff brings with these two brothers.
They're amazing coaches. They bring a lot of energy, something that Woodcreek hasn't had in a long time, and they make football fun again.
So for Woodcreek to continue its winning ways this year, especially in the ultra-competitive Sierra Foothill League, what will be the keys to success?
Keep tempo going, keep our energy level up, and just be more physical and outwork the other teams.
All right, Mike, nice to get to know Mr. Malcolm Thomas. He scored on interception returns, receptions, handoffs, complete player. Speaking of complete players, here's this week's Von Hausen Stars of the Week.
This week's Von Hausen Stars of the Week are Max O'Rourke of Rocklin and Elizabeth Dahlberg of El Camino. O'Rourke, the 6'2", 160-pound quarterback and kicker for the Thunder, had a big night in Rocklin's 62-14 win over Whitney in the annual Quarry Bowl. O'Rourke was 16 of 23 passing for 255 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he also rushed 4 times for 55 yards and another touchdown. As for Dahlberg, the 6'2" senior middle blocker for the #1 ranked Eagles, had an outstanding week that included 9 kills against Bella Vista, but it was Dahlberg's performance against #2 St. Francis that was key. Dahlberg had 12 kills and 5 blocks.
Mike, always great athletes, always great highlights.
Joe, I can't hear you. There's a big crowd here.
I think they acknowledge you guys. No, the Holy Bowl is always fun. More good games this week as we preview some games. How about De La Salle, #1 team in Northern California and Concord, coming up to Del Oro and Loomis. Does anybody have a chance against De La Salle? What's the one thing that Del Oro has to do to compete?
Well, they're going to have to stay in this. They're going to have to run the ball. And I don't know if you can run the ball in De La Salle. You got to shorten the game just to stay in it. It's a tall order. But their goal, certainly they want to win, but you want to be competitive.
Right, and Trey Udolphia might be the fastest guy in the field, even though De La Salle's got some real burners, but Trey Udolphia could stretch the field. Del Oro will have to go for it. Del Oro always schedules tough and has paid off for 2 bowl games in recent years. Here's another one, Mike. Yep. Sacramento High at Rocklin.
Woo, that's a barn burner. I think a Caden Voges, quarterback for Sac High, going up against Max O'Rourke, the quarterback in that great offense for Rocklin. Rocklin had a big win last week against Whitney. Their defense looks good. This is a nice matchup. I think this will be a long game with a lot of scoring.
I think so too, and Lonnie Powell is the linebacker, fullback, headed to Cal for Sacramento. He had 5 sacks for the Dragons last week. He's a player. He's a really good player. Another one, Vacaville Bulldogs at the Granite Bay Grizzlies in Placer County. When you think of Granite Bay, you think of their fiery coach, Ernie Cooper. He doesn't play football, but he coaches it. How about Cameron Smith? He's a load.
Yeah, he is a load, that's for sure. You know, Vacaville, we'll see. It's going to be a good game. I expect Granite Bay to win that one and stay undefeated. Let's stay in Placer County. We've got a good one with 2 undefeated teams. The Ponderosa Bruins playing at Woodcreek against the Timberwolves. Joe, Woodcreek they're on fire.
Woodcreek has never been 3-0. Jason Stowers, his brother Kyle, have done a great coaching job. They've wanted to get to this team to this point, and they're there. Ponderosa up in Shingle Springs, Jason Tenner is an excellent coach there. Receiver Josh Bist is a load. Malcolm Thomas might be on him. So there's some star power against star power in that nice game.
Yeah, all right. We can't wait for that stall startup. But Joe, hey, if you want to catch the show, you got to remember Tuesdays on Comcast Sportsnet California, re-airs on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And if they miss it there, catch it where?
SACB.com on Fridays, and we got stuff in the paper every day and on SACB.com. High school sports here, there, and everywhere. We understand the value of it. It's important. It's big time. We love it.
Folks, thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.